Life has a way of shattering the ground beneath you when you least expect it. One moment you believe everything is steady, and the next you're plunging into an abyss you never thought you'd face. That's what happened to me. I'm 33, and until recently I was married to Bianca, who's 30. We'd been together for 3 years as husband and wife, after dating for many years beforehand. I thought she was my soulmate. She loved me with a tenderness I had never experienced before, and giving that love back felt natural. I believed we were building something lasting, the kind of marriage my parents had, solid, loyal, unbreakable. But the truth is, even the people who seem the most transparent can carry shadows, and those shadows eventually surfaced in the worst way possible. Bianca and I first crossed paths in college. I was studying out of state, while she lived in her hometown. She often told me stories about her childhood, her family, even her high school boyfriend, Desmond. She always described him as nothing more than a naive teenage fling that fizzled out after a year. Even after they broke up, she said he occasionally tried to contact her. She claimed she brushed him off each time, and she was so open about his persistence that I trusted her completely. Fast forward to now. Bianca came home one evening from shopping. We sat down to dinner, chatting casually, when she casually brought up Desmond again. He had reached out, she said, this time sounding desperate. She told me she made it clear she was happily married and uninterested. I admired her honesty and even laughed with her about how pitiful he sounded. But later that night, while fixing myself a cup of tea, I saw something that changed everything. Bianca was on the couch, absorbed in her phone. She got up quickly to grab juice from the fridge and left her phone on the cushion. The screen was still lit, and in that glance I noticed a chat thread with someone saved as Des. My eyes caught on a heart emoji in the exchange, one sent from her. Before I could think it through, Bianca was suddenly back at the couch, grabbing her phone with unnerving speed. Her movements were sharp, almost panicked, and though she tried to act normal, her body language betrayed her. She looked at me sideways, and I pretended not to notice, carrying on a meaningless conversation to mask the suspicion gnawing inside me. But from that moment, doubt rooted itself deep. The next morning, when Bianca left her phone charging while she showered, I made my choice. I opened it. There was a fresh message from Desmond. Good morning. My stomach sank. I read further. Their messages weren't cold or one-sided as she had always insisted. They were warm, affectionate, flowing like conversations between two people very much involved. It wasn't her dismissing him. It was both of them feeding into each other. The history stretched far too long for me to read everything before Bianca finished her shower, but what I saw was enough to tear something open inside me. That night, as she slept peacefully beside me, I went deeper. I logged into her Facebook from my laptop, a password I had known for years. Carefully, I erased any traces of the login and began scrolling through her messages. The truth hit harder than anything I had braced myself for. Their exchanges stretched across years. Not only had they kept in touch, but the tone was intimate, affectionate. The story she had told me, that Desmond was some pathetic ex chasing a ghost, was a complete fabrication. He wasn't chasing her. They were chasing each other. Then I found the messages that confirmed the ultimate betrayal. They had been meeting in person. They had been sleeping together. Some encounters happened before our wedding, but many came after. This wasn't a momentary mistake. It was an affair sustained for years. I should have fallen apart then. But instead, something hardened inside me. I knew this marriage was finished, and I knew I had to act. Over the next several days, I quietly built my case. I took screenshots of everything, saved files, collected proof. Being the main earner in our relationship, I work in tech while Bianca dabbled in her art business. I also turned to protecting myself financially. I researched lawyers and found one who specialized in high-asset divorce cases. After one consultation, I hired them and had the paperwork drawn up. Once everything was in place, I began to pack my belongings discreetly while Bianca was out. It took several days, but eventually I moved out and checked into a hotel in a nearby city. Then I gave my lawyer the green light to serve her the papers. That same evening, my phone lit up with frantic calls and messages. She had been blindsided. Her first text after getting the papers read, "This has to be a mistake. Divorce? Tell me this isn't real." I didn't answer. As her desperation grew, I sent only one reply, Desmond. Then I blocked her everywhere. The fallout was ugly. Bianca tried to reach me through unknown numbers, mutual friends, even my lawyer's office. I ignored it all. Word came back through acquaintances that she was unraveling. Her Etsy sales were meager at best, and without my financial support, she was struggling. That was her problem, not mine. 2 months have passed since I left. I won't pretend the betrayal doesn't sting, but the freedom feels like oxygen. Bianca's life is falling apart, while mine is being rebuilt, piece by piece. Karma has a way of balancing the scales, and I've been content to let it work. When she finally signed the divorce papers after nearly a month of stalling, I felt relief. The next day I mistakenly answered one of the unknown calls. It was her. Her voice cracked as she begged to know where I was, told me she was broke, pleaded for help. For a fleeting moment, some old reflex of compassion stirred. But then I remembered everything she had done. I told her nothing, hung up, and let the silence close around me. The legal battle that followed was brutal. Her lawyer demanded half my assets. A laughable demand, given she contributed next to nothing. They later tried settling for a quarter, but I refused. I had overwhelming evidence of her affair, her deceit, her lack of contribution. In court, the judge offered her the option to keep the house while I covered the mortgage for 2 years, but she declined, terrified of what would happen when those payments stopped. In the end, the house was sold, the mortgage paid, and the remaining money split. She grabbed at the cash like a lifeline, only to burn through it recklessly. Reports trickled back to me from her sister. Bianca was still living carelessly, still not working, still sinking. I didn't intervene. I had severed ties completely, and I intended to keep it that way. Looking back now, I never imagined I'd find any satisfaction in someone else's downfall. But her betrayal was so deep that seeing her face consequences feels like justice. She took for granted the life I built for her, the sacrifices I made, and now she's learning the weight of standing alone. As for me, I've moved forward. The love I once had for Bianca has been replaced by a sense of liberation. I'm stronger, clearer, and more determined than before. If there's anything to take from this, it's this: trust your instincts. If your partner entertains someone who threatens your relationship, don't ignore the warning signs. Real love doesn't flirt with betrayal. And if someone crosses that line, don't be afraid to walk away. Bianca chose her path. And now, she's left to face the consequences of it.